Have you ever heard of the Super Ballon d'Or? Okay, maybe you did recently, as fans and journalists have been asking France football to bring the award out of their hidden box and wipe the dust off for a new recipient. Now, if you're not really clear on what the Super Ballon d'Or is, it's alright. It has been awarded only once in the history of football, and that happened over 3 decades ago. So don't worry, not your fault. Just sit tight and let me tell you about this really special individual award. The Super Ballon d'Or is basically just a Ballon d'Or, but instead of it being awarded to the best player of the year, that very one was awarded to the best player of the last 3 decades. And it was Alfredo di Stefano who has received the only version of this award so far, and that was in 1989. Yeah, I know, not Pelé, not Maradona, Alfredo di Stefano. But here's the thing, back then, the Ballon d'Or was only awarded to European players, so the GOATs weren't even considered. Di Stefano, however, although born in Argentina, was considered for the award because of his Spanish citizenship. Hell, the lad even played for the Spain national team, so he was basically a European footballer. But in 1995, France football opened up the Ballon d'Or to players from any nationality around the world who were playing in Europe. And that's why we've had the likes of Ronaldo Nazario, Kaká, Ronaldinho, Lionel Messi, and George Weah win the award since then. In 2007, the Ballon d'Or was opened even further to any player at all playing professional football anywhere in the world. So now, even if you play for a club in Africa, Asia, North America, South America, Australia, or even Antarctica, you can be considered for the Ballon d'Or and, as an extension, the Super Ballon d'Or. Right, so 34 years after the last and only Super Ballon d'Or was given, there are shouts for another to be awarded. And this one looks like it'll hold more weight to it if France football really agrees to revive the award. First of all, like we have explained, Di Stefano was given the award for being the best player in Europe over the 3 decades leading up to 1989. But this time, the award will be given to the outright best player in the world over the last 3 decades. That alone makes it a bigger award than the last one. If this award will be given this year, it will take into consideration the likes of Ronaldo Nazario, Ronaldinho, Zinedine Zidane, Rivaldo, Michael Owen, Kaká, Andriy Shevchenko, Luis Figo, George Weah, Luka Modric, Andres Iniesta, Xavi Hernandez, Thierry Henry, and many more greats from different generations. But let's be very honest with ourselves, dude. We all know that if the Super Ballon d'Or is revived for real, it will be between just 2 men, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. And yeah, that makes sense, because between them, they have won more Ballon d'Or awards than every other person I have previously mentioned on that list put together. So yeah, if the Super Ballon d'Or is given in 2023, it'll be a debate settler, if you catch my drift. Well, except France football decide to be corny and give that award to both of them. But that outcome is quite unlikely considering the current disparity in Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo's achievements. Cristiano is great, no doubt. But if France football will give the Super Ballon d'Or again, it can only go to one man, and that's Lionel Messi. And honestly, it seems like a no-brainer to me because this is the man with the most Ballon d'Or awards in history with 7. And there's even a very huge likelihood of him going to win his 8th this year to further extend that record, having already won the World Cup in December last year. And he won it as the best player too, don't forget. Speaking of the World Cup, that definitely has to be the debate settler as concerns who deserves the Super Ballon d'Or. For years, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi have been absolutely inseparable both at club and international level, and many of us had actually already started making peace with the fact that the GOATs would retire without winning the World Cup. But Messi just went to Qatar last year and said, "Hold my beer." Okay, beer wasn't allowed in Qatar, so maybe he said, "Hold my mate." Add that World Cup trophy to his record 7 Ballon d'Or trophies, record 6 European golden shoes, record 2 FIFA World Cup golden balls, record 91 official goals in a calendar year, record 73 goals in a single club season, record 40 plus goals in 12 consecutive seasons, and not to forget an astonishing 42 career trophies, and you won't realistically be able to give the Super Ballon d'Or to anyone else. A fan even crunched the numbers for the Ballon d'Or over the last 3 decades, and he came to the conclusion that Lionel Messi unsurprisingly tops the power rankings for the Super Ballon d'Or award to be awarded this year. The Ronaldos made up the rest of the top 3. And you know what? I actually think that France football actually really need to bring that award back for the culture. I mean, think about it. The last time you gave it, it wasn't exactly fair to all footballers as only Europeans could be considered. So, now that players from all over the world have been considered for some years and non-Europeans have even won a number of the awards, it just might be the perfect time to whip out the Super Ballon d'Or again. But if you ask for my own recommendation, I would say it should be given in 2025. 2025 will make it 30 years since France football opened the Ballon d'Or award to include players from countries outside Europe. So they could just easily consider all the best players in the world from the last 3 decades using metrics from the Ballon d'Or votings and rankings between 1995 and 2005. Sounds just about perfect, doesn't it? And dude, if we're keeping it a buck, whether the award is being awarded in 2023, 2025, or even 2030, if and when France football decide to bring back the Super Ballon d'Or, there's only one person who will be truly deserving of it, and you already know his name. No disrespect to Di Stefano, but Messi would be an even more deserving recipient of the Super Ballon d'Or than the former Spain international. Yes, Di Stefano won 5 European Cups, which is the equivalent of the current UEFA Champions League, but that's literally the only thing he has over Messi. His 5 Pichichi trophies, although impressive, are still inferior to Messi's 8. His 2 Ballons d'Or are by far inferior to Messi's 7. And even France football themselves put Di Stefano in the second Ballon d'Or all-time dream team, which was published in 2020, while Messi is obviously in the first. So, if Di Stefano has the Super Ballon d'Or in his cabinet, then a player like Messi, with the career he has had, also deserves to have it in his too. However, if France football will bring that award back, a few changes have to be made from the last one. The first change is the obvious one, which we have talked about throughout this video about the players outside Europe being considered this time. And that's a no-brainer. You don't even have to mention. The biggest change I'm concerned about, though, is the trophy itself. That design has to be changed. I'm sorry, because that trophy that was awarded to Alfredo di Stefano in 1989 was really scary looking. Those little balls at the base are not helping my trypophobia at all. And please, why is the golden ball being held up by what looks like a lava, as if the ball erupted from a volcano? Sure, we all want the Super Ballon d'Or to come back, but France football, art, and sculpture has evolved so much since 1989, so please make sure you update the design on the trophy, because no one wants to see Lionel Messi lift this leviathan of an award. Where is he even gonna put his hands? Anyway, if that little change can be made, then we're all good and all set for the return of the Ballon d'Or Pro Max. At least I know I am. If you have any suggestions for upgrades the award has to go through before it relaunches, let us know in the comments. France football might just be watching. You never know. But before I round this off, I know many of you are asking the question, why did France football only give this award out once? If they were considering the best players in the previous 3 decades, then another Super Ballon d'Or should have been awarded in 2019. Well, here's the thing. When France football first gave out the Super Ballon d'Or in 1989, I'm not sure that they were looking so far into the future and considering giving another one 30 years from then. Hell, they probably didn't even think that the Ballon d'Or was going to be the single most prized individual award in world football by now. They only gave the Super Ballon d'Or in 1989 to mark the 30th anniversary of France Football magazine. And that is why I suggested a comeback in 2025, 30 years after the Ballon d'Or was restructured to accommodate players from all around the world. But who knows what France football is cooking up? With the pressure that seems to be brewing up from fans and the media since late last year, they may just be forced to bring it back this year. Who knows? There's also the issue of the greatest rivalry in the history of football soon coming to an end, and the possibility of the Super Ballon d'Or being used to say farewell to that insane rivalry which seemed to last an entire lifetime. Already, it looks like there's a new rivalry brewing between Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland starting up. So you would expect that France football will be considering handing out one Super Ballon d'Or now to end the Messi and Ronaldo debate, and then handing another one out in 30 years' time to end the Haaland and Mbappe debate. And from then, maybe it could just become a regular thing that fans and journalists actually anticipate, and players themselves look forward to. So, over to you, France football. Will you be bringing back the Super Ballon d'Or? If yes, when? The people want to know.